Good evening. Welcome to the Always Shine Your Light Equine Energy Point Education Series. My name is Kay Aubrey Shemaine. I'm the owner and director of Grand Adventures Ranch, a holistic equine wellness center in Sonoyta, Arizona. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about how photopuncture is really the lazy person's equine therapy. All right. And in my world, lazy is another word for efficient. I've gotten old enough and stiff enough and fallen off enough horses that I don't, although I am a good massage therapist, I don't do a lot of massage. I find it very slow and very taxing. And I'm too cheap to pay for a $100 call out fee to call my vet down for things that I can do myself. And I am too stubborn to do things the typical allopathic way. I really believe in a holistic approach. It has saved my life. It has saved my horses' lives many times. And so I had to find a better way to take care of my animals, to take care of my bank account, and to take care of my body. And photopuncture, acupuncture with light, as it were, is really how I did that. So photopuncture really combines the benefits of a lot of different health modalities when dealing with horses. It balances the energy points in the meridians like doing acupuncture. It relaxes and repairs muscles and tissue like massage does. It can realign the skeleton like chiropractic, but without any force. It stimulates and relaxes the nervous system like T-touch. It increases circulation like applying magnets. It greatly speeds wound healing like light therapy, and there is a little difference between photopuncture and generalized light therapy. And it can sedate pain like herbs and pharmaceuticals, and even a TENS unit. There are lots of great and effective modalities, but some are slow, they take a long time. Some can be painful. Some only address a little area that you think is the issue instead of the entire body. Some are only legally applied by a veterinarian and take a lot of training. And some are just plain hard work. And I'm not into plain hard work when I have too much to do. So on the left here, we see photopuncture being applied. All right. The bottom picture on the left is me actually scanning a horse to locate the points that are out of balance on this horse. And on the top left is someone actually applying a combination of infrared and visible red light to bring those points back into balance. On the right, we have a couple of different practitioners doing equine massage. And I don't want anybody to think I'm putting down equine massage. It is a great modality. It can do a lot. I go get massage for myself. But it is hard work. And I don't know, from a business perspective, any massage therapists that really stick with it for a lot of years because it really tears up their body. I'm going to focus on massage tonight because of the whole lazy aspect here. But like I said, there's benefits to equine massage and photopuncture. They both enhance the muscle tone and the range of motion in the joints. They can reduce inflammation and swelling in the joints. They stimulate circulation, which increases the flow of nutrients to the muscles and carries away excess fluids and toxins. It creates a positive effect on the contraction and releasing of the muscles, so they get better toned. Overall, both can do a lot. But there's a downside to equine massage. You can't use it on or around fresh wounds. It can cause a lot of pain when first applied if you've got tight muscles or trigger points. And I don't know about you, but I've had massage therapists that I have had to just back off because they come in and they hit it too hard. And if you put a horse into pain, you can get hurt. And it can be extremely, as we've talked about before, extremely labor intensive, which limits the number of horses that can be treated each day. Unless you're just a dynamo and a tremendous athlete, you cannot do that many horses a day. But there's an upside when you do this with photopuncture. You get all those benefits of the massage, plus the benefits of the other modalities. You could use it directly around fresh wounds. You can use it on areas of intense pain to lower that pain, and lower it quickly. It lets you tell the client where the problem is. And from a business perspective, educating the client can get you a lot more repeat business, showing them exactly where the problem is. There's a little bending and kneeling, but not so much physical effort. And you can easily scan and treat 4 to 6 horses a day. If you're doing a show type of work where it's just tune-ups, you could do even more. So it comes down from a business perspective to show me the money. It can take about the same amount of time for a session. All right, you can do photopuncture more quickly if you're doing like a show session. But if it's a first-time customer, I expect to spend a couple of hours educating them, showing them what's going on with the horse. It might take a little longer to introduce the horse to what we're doing. But I can do as many horses a day as I want without getting so tired out. The people I have talked to massage therapists in the last year. Most of them are getting paid anywhere from $50 to $100. I talked to one that was only getting $35, but I thought she was being way underpricing herself. And some that were really good, had really good customers, and are getting about $100 a session. It is better known. People know to ask for massage. So if they see a massage therapist at a show, they're going to go, oh, I'd really like to have that done. I know it'll help my horse. So it can have more demand so far. Photopuncture, very unlimited by how much you can do on a horse in a day or a week. Some people start about that same range, about $50. I've known people at horse shows to offer tune-ups for $25, where they don't even scan the horse. They just go in and they go to specific energy points that they know will release that horse for that discipline. And I get $135 a session. I know some people in upscale areas that are getting as much as $175. But I regularly charge $135 per session. And I've been known to go out to a barn and do 3 to 5 horses, once you have a relationship with that barn. So it's better pay per day. It's less well known, but it's growing, okay? And it's getting known as acupuncture with light. It's a very simple way to talk to people about it. So if you want to know more about photopuncture, about using light therapy in general, more about equine energy points or classes that we have going on, please check out our website, photopuncture.com. And I'm going to open this up now for questions from the audience here. Hold on. Okay, we're open. Any feedback or questions on that? Oh, hold on. I thought I had you unmuted. Well, Sandra, I can see that you're speaking, but I can't hear you.
I didn't say anything yet.
Oh, it said you were talking.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what you call it. It's prescient, or whatever the word is, the new word. What happens with these little New York horses, quite often, well, I've noticed 2 things. First of all, everybody lit up like Christmas trees in the winter, not so much in the summer. In the winter, they're freezing their butts off and everything hurts. Okay. Now, in the warmer weather, what I'm noticing is the first time, what's upsetting is that when it's a horse with problems and you scan the whole thing and it's holding its energy back and you're getting like nothing. And I keep testing the scanner to make sure it's okay. And I try to communicate with the horse on the spot, but the only time I can really do it is when I'm home in my bed. And then I'm like, oh, the horse yesterday was self-conscious about wearing the happy hat and didn't want the other horses to see her. And every time a horse came by, she's like the mayor of the barn. And so I also got that she was grieving because she's not with her baby. They took her baby away. So I started doing lung and large intestine because that's what I, tested for. But she was hopping around, jumping me, and so now I know next time she wants to have the session in a private stall. But what I'm seeing is, I don't always get the messages I need at the moment. And if that first session doesn't turn anything up, I look like a dingbat. you know, especially when they go, yeah, her back is sore, this is sore, she's on Robaxin, and I'm like, oh, my scanner doesn't show these things.
Sandra,
so how do I explain that?
I'm interested that you're getting more points in the winter because that's atypical. Usually in the summer,
Really?
yes, in the summer our blood flow is closer to the surface. Our body's not trying to protect the organs. And so energy is usually flowing more closely to the surface, and we see a lot. The scanners can usually read more effectively. In fact, in the summer we usually have to turn the scanner sensitivity down.
Could it be that I've made a lot, you know, the horses that I've worked since then, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's only a couple that I can actually compare apples to apples because it's the same horse. And, you know, I mean, when I worked, there's 3 horses, and 2 of them lit up like Christmas trees. One was injured, the other was not. And now, you know, I'm getting, maybe I'll get pericardium 5, you know, or 1, you know, behind the, you know, in the armpit, and that's it. And I'm just like, then I just muscle test and I do some meridians, but I'm feeling like, what's going on?
Right.
I don't know. Is my scanner working properly?
That's a good question. Though we used your scanner in Boulder and it was fine, you had good results.
I know yesterday it wouldn't go on, and and then I plugged it in for 5 seconds, and I charge it every night. I plugged it in for 5 seconds, and then it worked. But that thing would not turn on. So I don't know if there's a short in my system.
You know,
I don't know how to tell, but if I send it in, I'm without work for as many weeks as it takes them to get it back to me.
It does not take weeks. It takes days. I promise you. I've never had them keep it more than like 3 days. What I recommend doing is like on Friday afternoon after you're done.
Okay.
Unless you work more on the weekends, okay? But when you're going to have a couple days where you think you can have downtime, you send it 2-day air, just the scanner. You don't have to send the wand. Well, no, on yours, you got to send the wand because I want to make sure that the wand is right, okay?
They sent me a backup wand so I can try that. But this was when this was the first time the unit would not turn on.
Send the unit, tell them you're having troubles getting points. Rule that out first. That is much more likely than you're doing it wrong, okay? And because it's hard to do it wrong. It really is. Please send it in to them and say, I've got to have this checked. I'm having real troubles getting this out. Explain where you bought it, that it came through from the Avalon time, but they have said that they will maintain them, that they will honor the warranties, okay? And they will send it back to you 2nd-day air. They've done that with me every time. And just put in there very clearly what's going on with it and that this is your livelihood, you need it back. And until it comes back, since you're not getting good, valuable information yet anyway, use your muscle testing that you already know works for the few days that it's gone. Okay? And
I did scan a few days ago, and I got, an okay number of points. In other words, I keep seeing the same things over and over and over and over again. I mean, nothing on the barrel, 1 point on the barrel will show up. But, always the same stuff. Large intestine 11, PT5.
We all see the same spots show up over and over again. Boarding places feed the same stuff. Regionally, they feed the same stuff. If you're seeing horses in the same disciplines, they're going to be using the same parts of their bodies.
Right.
People tend to copy each other, and so their horses end up with the same issues. And remember, I would rather have 3 points than 30.
Okay.
When you say a decent number of points, my favorite is to get 6 to 10. No more.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Trust the points. And go out with the intention of opening the bladder meridian before you scan and see if you can't bring the energy up on these horses a little bit. Or if you're not getting anything, ask them to put the horse in the round or on a lunge line and lunge it 3 circles each way. And then bring it back. Bring its energy up a little bit. Unless, of course, it's dead lame. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure, no problem. Betsy or Christine, did you have some questions for us?
No, I'm just mostly been reading up on it. This is Christine speaking.
Mm-hmm. Any questions on how it works?
Well, Tammy actually did a demonstration for me when we were out in Colorado together this summer. After she had just come from your course, she was showing me some of the things because I was very interested. I'm a massage therapist, so this, and I know about fatigue, so this is interesting to me.
Right, right. No, and believe me, I hope that didn't come across as demeaning to massage therapy. I love
Oh,
massage
not
therapy.
at all.
Okay.
I totally get it. I know what it is like at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, and then you find yourself, well, I'll do it on Mondays and Thursdays, right? Or I'll only take it once a week. Well, you can't make a living at $100 a day, one horse once a week. You just can't make that. You can't survive on that. Um, well, so you're the friend. You're the friend whose truck she borrowed.
No, that was Penny.
Oh.
I know that one. Though.
Okay. All right.
Mountain Road with Colorado.
Getting the names all straight there.
Yeah, that's another friend of our mutual friend, Penny.
Okay, good, good. How about you, Betsy? Any questions there? Oh, went quiet. All right, we'll jump.
She might be.
No questions right now.
Oh, okay, good. All right, Karen, I see you're with us. You've self-muted yourself. Karen is another recent CPT.
I don't have any questions.
All right. Well, I'm gonna show up.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. Great. Thank you, honey.
I have a question now.
Okay.
This is what happens when we give us a chance to start thinking. I notice you have a number of different classes that you offer. Could you talk about what you learn in those different classes? And I'm just trying to figure out if I was to go to one, which one would fit me.
Well, I'm going to narrow. I'm going to make it easy for you.
Okay.
We're pretty much narrowing it back down to sticking with the photopuncture and not doing the. We did a what we called Finding the Path class, which is what Tammy came to earlier this year.
Yeah.
And what keeps happening is that the Finding the Path students all end up wanting to do full CPT certifications anyway. And when you cram 6 days worth of information into 4, everybody goes home with a headache. The Finding the Path class was really, and we may do it again. If we have people that request it, we will be happy to do it. The Finding the Path class is a 4-day class specifically going into depth into the equine energy meridians and the master energy points. Okay? You won't come out a master acupuncturist, but you'll have an understanding of how the points and the meridians affect the body, and whether you use light or fingers or needles or whatever to balance that, you'll know where to treat. Okay? But the CPT, the Certified Photopuncture Technician, is that plus using the light therapy system, what we call the Equine Light system, which is a 2-part. It used to be called a bioscan system, and it's a 2-part system. Let me see if I have a picture of it here, where we scan the horse with this comb, this wand, and then we and that tells us exactly where to treat. And then we treat. Let's see if I can get this up on the screen. Of course, let's see. Come here. There. Oh. There we go. So this is the full photopuncture system. All right, what I've called the photopuncture system. And on the let's see, on the left, I believe, is our, no, on the right, sorry, the right is the scanner, and that little comb thing that you see there is what we scan the horse with. That identifies where we have energy blockages or imbalances in the horse, okay? And then on the right is a high-intensity light therapy unit, and it's a combination of infrared and visible red And how it differs from maybe like a photonic torch or a little tiny regular torch or even a laser is that in addition to red and infrared, the lights are pulsed. And there's a series of frequencies that have been identified by the physics community in NASA and a physicist called Nogier, I can't think of his first name, who identified specific wavelengths or excuse me, frequencies of which light could be pulsed that got the body to respond differently. So at the lowest frequency, which we call level 7, we have 7 levels, okay? The lowest frequency sedates the tissue underneath the light. So it acts like a TENS unit, it can sedate pain, it lowers and slows the energy pulsing at that spot. All the way up to level 1, which is the highest frequency, and that is a very high stimulation, okay? It activates the point. And then we can use everything in between to bring it back into balance. So this differs from like a photonic torch, which does a great job of putting red light on the area, or a laser, which puts red light into the area. This actually also pulses the tissue to stimulate ATP production, cellular repair, pain relief, etc. So it's it's more of a professional approach, professional system than like a photonic torch, which I love photonic torches. I think they're great for the general horse owner that just wants a little bit of light and wants to, stimulate their horse. This is the professional level, okay? And then what you see up top that has the little ear holes through it, that is the pole cap for doing light therapy over the pole. And we call it the happy hat because it hits the brain and sedation points up over the head. One of our people calls it the scarecrow hat because it gave her horse a brain. and we use the happy hat a lot to release a lot of endorphins, to calm the horses down. We see a lot of licking and chewing and dropping of the penis and so on just from putting the happy hat on. And then we have a lot more relaxed horse for the rest of the session. And we have massage therapists that do nothing but buy a happy hat because it helps to treat the whole pole and have a relaxed horse as they go to do everything else. So the pieces can be used independently, but this is the set. Okay, this is the full system. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Basically said you're going to combine the classes.
And yes.
It's going to
so yeah, thank you. Brought me back to reality. So the CPT class teaches using this system, and then as we identify points on the horses that teach in our class, because the horses really, they guide where the class goes. It's just amazing how the horses always bring up the right things at the right time. As we scan the horses and we see what points come up, we combine that in with the finding the path. So you start learning the meridians and the master points, and you also start looking to be able to read what we're seeing when those points come up on the horse. Okay? So that full 6-day class is really where, for people who are professionally going to be doing this as a living, that's where I suggest going. If you're someone who just wants a better understanding of energy points, then look for a Finding the Path class. Okay?
Okay.
All right. I derailed my own train of thought. Okay, I'm going to jump over. Sandra had some questions. One of the things that I've been noticing a lot is that people have started referring to hoof pain generically. In some parts of the country, if the horses have hoof pain, it's called laminitis, or it's just called founder. My horse foundered, period. Having no real understanding of what that means. And in other parts of the country, every hoof problem is called navicular. It's just, oh, they've got navicular. And so that got me off on one of my rants and tears the other day. And we're going to do we'll do a webinar probably next week on using the photopuncture specifically for navicular. but I wanted to bring up a picture for Sandra tonight on the horse, on the inside of the horse's hoof, to really explain what I was talking about to her. This is an autopsied foot that was sliced right down the middle, transecting the leg. Okay? And here's my little spotlight here. This tiny little bone right there under the red light, that is the navicular bone. That's what all the fuss is about. This little bone actually wraps around, it's actually shaped kind of like a wedge, and it wraps around this bone, which is the coffin bone. So when the coffin bone, this is not a healthy hoof, by the way. This is the transection of a non-healthy hoof. In a live horse, in a healthy hoof, this coffin bone should be parallel to the ground. So this tip should be up here, all right? And notice that all of these ligaments come and they wrap around the navicular bone and they attach to the back of this coffin bone. So when a horse has laminitis, or as I was explaining to Sandra, gout, what's in a human is gout, is laminitis in a horse, where the lamina gets inflamed and it loses its attachment to the horny hoof wall, okay? This bone starts loosening up and it rotates. And it's so sharp that it slices through this tissue. That's one of the reasons why it's so painful. And a full rotation is when this point comes down and actually comes out the bottom of the hoof and the horse is standing on the point of this bone. That is founder. Founder is when this bone rotates. Navicular is this little tiny bone behind there that has a huge amount of blood supply. And unfortunately, you cannot see the blood supply well in this picture. But all these veins and arteries come right through here. And it's so porous, it's already like Swiss cheese anyway. And all that blood supply, when the horse is too acidic, it robs the calcium from the most available bones, and this is the easiest one to rob from. And it weakens, and it snaps and breaks, and that is navicular. So that's the difference between the two. There's no point in arguing with a customer. If a client says, gee, my horse has navicular, you go, oh, okay. But I would ask, gee, have you had an x-ray done? Has the navicular bone broken? Because that's a harder fix than, gee, the area is inflamed and we need to put bone density back down, okay? So just for knowledge, it's good to know, especially if there are vets around, you know, is this truly navicular? Is this founder? What's going on? Does that help, Sandra?
Yes.
Okay.
Very, very much. Thank you.
You're
very much.
You're welcome. Okay. So you can see there's a whole lot of things going on, but that bone, that coffin bone, is basically the tip of the middle finger. Okay? Anybody else have questions on that?
That looks really painful.
Oh, I know. I look at this and I'm just so glad I'm not trying. You know, this poor horse. It looks like it hurts.
Yeah.
It was a really amazing job somebody did getting this. It's a good picture. You know, it's never as easy to look at anatomical structures when they're just sliced open and they're dead. But it's a really great. I went to a fascinating class about 6 years ago. We actually hosted it at the ranch, where they took some recently, you know, some horses that have been recently put down, and they literally took apart their feet for us right there in the class. We got to autopsy it, you know, and cut apart the cadaver feet. And I learned so much. I had no idea that the navicular bone was such a tiny little structure. And it was amazing to me to see that. Okay. Any other questions before we get going? All right, guys. Well, we'll be doing more on building businesses and working on things like navicular and laminitis over the next couple of weeks. And if you have topics you specifically want to go into, please let me know. I love doing that. That helps a lot.
Alrighty.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you so much, Kay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Night.